So I'm thinking of religion in Africa. I'm thinking of um, how we sort of infuse elements of sort of like white supremacist consciousness into what we'd even define as African, right? So I mean, I wanted to ask, um, how do we sort of figure out our own problems outside the context of this sort of ubiquitous sense of not being African? Like, I mean, I'm going to school, I'm going to work, I'm working in a context that, historically was set up not really to serve me. Yet I'm using these same tools to try to find my African self, right? So how do I sort of, find my way? How do I define myself, without sort of in some way having that
Sure.
stream
Sure.
really be look like that's the main route, you know what I mean? How do I, define self while continuously referencing the source? And being clear that, okay, this element of white supremacy is at play, let me throw it aside. This element of racial inequality is at play, let me throw that aside. How do I get that clarity?
Let me think. Okay, it's a very, once you mention religion, I was almost going to get out of here. Religion is a very hot spot because I don't know those of you who watched, who read the movie, who read the book, Things Fall Apart.
Exactly what I was thinking.
That would tell you really about religion, the influx of the beginning of religion. Because even the book that I wrote, The Tragedy of Adata, that I wrote, it was, I made sure it was before the advent of religion, advent of Christianity. And that brought a lot of controversy that I still have. You can see the names I used. I made sure that it was before Christianity. That way I was able to really write it with the values and the context of the Africanness I wanted in it. The sequel is going to be the beginning of when Christianity began to come in. And if you read Things Fall Apart, you will see that Okonkwo did something that made him commit suicide, the white man. That's exactly the picture, the problem we're having. It's not going to go away, it's still there. That's why I'm trying to empower everyone. Read it all, read all. Empower yourself as well. There's no time you're going to come together as a group to say this is what we're going to do. No, it's all about being personal. That's why when I wrote my book, I made sure I removed Christianity from it, because there will always be that controversy. Christianity has its own gains, of course, had its own damage that is still with Africans. I'm a Christian, but you ask me, it created more damage even, in a way. And I see it. I look through it, and I see the way my people, even when I go back home, in our culture and our values and our beliefs, what I'm trying to do now, even when I go home, is trying to tell them that you need to differentiate Christianity and culture and tradition. You still have to do what tradition says you should do. Most people have left tradition and culture, followed Christianity, and Christianity does not offer anything. It's a foreign tradition, has no way to go. You understand? Because that's not our values. It's not offering us anything. And as a result of that, they are being caged, marginalized, and they have nowhere to go. And these are the people that left their culture and their tradition and their way of life. And when you turn around, you could see that even in that tradition and culture had those pockets. They even had the religion in them, but they didn't call it Christianity. You understand what I'm saying? So in a way, there is nothing I'm going to be able to tell you in terms of how to do it, but one, Christianity is something that I tell you, look, practice it within you, continue to move your own identity, and carry it along with you.
Yeah, I would just say, one of the things I think that's important, Benny, in terms of really being clear in that stream, in terms of your question, is we have to be about the business of creating black institutions.
Yeah.
We have to be about the business of creating institutions which have no other governance except ourselves.
Yeah.
The closest as a nation we got to, I think, and probably the best, was the black church.
Yeah.
Most communities had a church which was ruled, run, governed, owned, built, perpetuated by the black people who went to it.
Right.
If there was a mortgage, they paid it. They could meet there if they wanted to. They could meet there anytime they wanted to because they owned it. Really, the civil rights movement would not have happened without the black church. Because even the Freedom Riders, when they were going south, the only place they could sleep was in the basement of these churches.
Right.
Hotels would not take them. So it was these black institutions that literally covered people in these movements. But nowadays, we cannot seem to figure out what institution we need. We shop at Kroger, Pathmark, CVS, Dwayne Reed. We don't own this, but we keep using these products.
Right.
Right. We have to build some institutions ourselves, which we stay committed to, right? That will cover us and that will cover our children. I give my $100, you give your $100,
Yes.
you give his $100, you give your $100, right? And we have $10,000, right? That's back in this institution that is ours.
Yes.
Every dime of it belongs to us. When somebody gets in trouble, they come to this place and this bank, right? Not to somebody else's bank, and now we pay you twice as much for just helping us out.
Right. Right.
We have to create our own, and we have to believe that we can. That once we start this, we can do this. It may get difficult, it may get hard, we disagree, but even when we disagree, right, we're not gonna say the end. We're gonna work our way through this. Without those black institutions, we're slaves in a foreign culture.